All right, good evening and welcome to the Council Advisory Committee meeting of March 9th, 2026. This meeting is being live streamed on the town's YouTube channel and held live in chambers. I acknowledge that we are on Mi'kma'ki ancestral land of the Mi'kmaq and honor all who care for, including African Nova Scotian communities. I know tonight we have regrets from Councillor Savage and Deputy Mayor Kroll, but we do have quorum. Are there any conflict of issue declarations that we should be made aware of before we begin? There being none, we will move on to approval of the agenda. There are two small changes. Item 5D will be added, Investment Advisory Services Contract Extension. And just a flip of items 6 and 7. Public comments would come before the closed session. Okay, moved by Councillor Baker and a seconder. Councillor Maxwell. All those in favor? Those opposed? Motion is carried. We have a set of minutes from the February 9th meeting. Are there any changes to this set of minutes? If there are none, we will file those, and there's none? Okay. All right, we'll move on to department reports, and we'll invite up the Director of Finance. Oh, I've got them in a different order. Just come up as you want, and I'll. Your order is different than mine, so come on up, Director Bell. Unless you want to do finance tonight. No. I do not. Director Bell with Public Works.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor and Council. Yes, first time I think I've ever gone first in the Director's report, so it's a new one. We're changing up the orders. I'll start as I usually do with Kentville Water Commission. At the end of February, we were able to fill the Water Commission or Water Operator vacancy internally from within Public Works through an internal posting process. And I'd like to congratulate Andrew Prowl for the move over from Public Works to Water. And he started that position just last week, I guess, a little over a week ago, February 28th. He transitioned from Public Works as a Public Works operator and brings experience working within the water distribution system. He currently holds the necessary level 2 certification required for our water system. So you're working with staff on preparing the upcoming Water Commission budget and continue to work with our ICIP consultant to review and confirm the design parameters for the next phase of the Donald E. Hiltz project, which will include a new water storage tank inland from the existing tank in the industrial park. Under sanitary sewer area service, I attended a regional technical subcommittee meeting for the regional treatment system last week, where we met to discuss, among other things, their updated budget. They proposed one budget here back in January, and we suggested some edits to bring it down a bit to meet our meet where we had budgeted for our overall sanitary sewer service operating budget. And then they will bring that forward to the full committee this Thursday, the 12th. And upon that, if that is successful at the committee level, we will review and bring it to this month's council meeting at the end of the month for your review and approval. Operating budget-wise, we're working currently with internally on the operating budget for presentation in the coming weeks. Project update, Mitchell Brook culvert replacement. Following last month's recommendation and approval, the Mitchell Brook culvert replacement project has been awarded, and we will be moving forward once we have an approved capital budget. So we will move, I guess we've already approved that project, but we have notified the contractor and be moving forward with the signing of that project. It must be completed between the months of June and September to meet regulatory environmental time requirements. So that will take place most likely midsummer when it's the driest in July and August. Update on Donald E. Hiltz Road. As I mentioned, we're currently preparing the design of phase 2 of that project with the consultants, and which will involve replacing the water tank in the park. We have a few proposed downtown projects that we're starting the design on sort of proactively, assuming we get an approved capital budget hopefully here later tonight, and been working on the design portion now for Miller Avenue and other components of the AT project that needs to be completed this fiscal year. And the last thing to touch on is the provincial paving program. We will be submitting an application this week for the 26-27 provincial paving grant, and we'll be focusing on the west end of Park Street. There's lots of places it could certainly be used, and that is certainly seems to be in the worst condition right now on the qualifying streets, which are trunk roads like Trunk 1, Park Street. So that program provides up to 50% funding, with the remaining cost of the project paid by the town. This is right now in year 3 of a 5-year funding program, so hopefully it continues through that timeline and beyond, so we can continue to resurface our aging streets. And those are the highlights of my report.
Thank you, Director Bell. Any questions for Director Bell based on this report? Councillor Baker.
Thank you, Your Worship. Just a question, Director. I should say thank you for a great report. The water tank replacement in the park, what's the timeline on that?
We're working on now to secure the land, have been working on that for a while now, but getting somewhat closer. And that land is sort of inland from where you see that, the tank today. I think we maybe shared that in the past, either here or at the Water Commission meetings. We anticipate fall construction, but it would span the 26 construction season into the 27 season. So, you know, it was certainly it could be as much as a two construction season project, but finishing up in 2027.
And I guess the reason for my question, and thank you for that answer, is would the Hiltz Connector Road remain a construction zone that would be out of bounds to recreational purposes?
I certainly think it'll be open long before then. Once the heavy equipment is out of there, which it will be end of this construction season. We'll say fall, hopefully fall of 26 this fall. But the tank itself is sort of a separate location and separate site from the road itself. So I anticipate the road being able to be returned to a recreational use fall of this year.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome.
Perfect. Thank you, Director Bell.
Thank you. Good evening.
We'll now invite up Director Matthews with Finance.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. My report has been circulated, so I just wanted to give a few highlights and make one minor amendment. So in the first bullet of my report, or second bullet, I noticed that interim audit, it does say that we have a meeting set with the Finance and Audit Committee. Our hope was that we would be able to have that committee meet during the interim, but the date scheduled for interim was less than a week's notice. So we didn't actually set that as of yet. We will have a sense once our auditor is here on Wednesday of what timeline looks like for them, and make sure that gives the committee sufficient time to get together. So I just wanted to point out that error. And on the financial side, you may have noticed that the town is forecasting about $126,000 surplus. That assumes we're not going to have any major year-end adjustments. We are feeling fairly confident. However, 1 month left in the year, hopefully no more snow, and that will help. And we have been keeping our accounting up to date quarterly, so I'm not expecting any major adjustments at year-end. Our sanitary sewer Q3 report has been circulated, and it shows a deficit of about $128,000 being projected. You may have noticed that revenue is lower than expected. Our consumption is less as well. And our regional sewer contract, we are based on the most recent forecast that was provided, looking at about a $75,000 additional charge this year. They are over their budget. So those two factors together bring us to that $128,000 that we're predicting. Now, our financial statements at year end, our net water operating general town and sand sewer. And so, we're still hopeful that we'll have a net zero position at year end. On the capital side, all the projects are on target, consistent with our prior reporting period, no real changes there. I have provided sanitary sewer update as well. Nothing major to highlight in that area either. You will also have noticed that the tax outstanding at the end of February or March 2nd is a 1.5% of total. Last month it was 2%, so it's still going in the right direction, which is good news. Happy to answer any specific questions. Those were the areas I wanted to highlight.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for Director Matthews? I guess you're off the hook.
Great.
Thank you. We'll invite up Director Langell or Director Shoup with Planning and Development. I need to learn to read the order of them. It's on the agenda because it changes every time. So I'm a creature of habit, right? You do that on purpose just so I can fumble. All right. Go ahead, Director Shoup.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. A few highlights from our report. We note that the Planning Advisory Committee is scheduled to meet for the first meeting on March 25th, so we're excited to get a new group started. And plan review will become a standing item with that committee to review. Also wanted to note that Alice Jebawat has started in her new role as Climate Action Coordinator. She started last week. She's getting integrated into the team, and her work will help inform the plan review process as well when we look at some of the environmental aspects. In terms of numbers, we had 5 development permits for the month of February with a total value of just under $800,000. There's 2 subdivision applications that were also included in the report, and there's a new planning application as well. It's an application for text amendment to the land use bylaw for home-based businesses to allow group classes of 8 people per class, and that differs from what currently is permitted. Now there's not, just a quick review, and if there's any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Thank you, Director. I have one quick question. Last year, I think there was an application opened for residential on River Street. Did anything happen with that, or it's just on pause, or is there any update?
Trying to recall that one now.
Over there, I think they were going to put two residential buildings, apartment buildings on River Street over by the police department somewhere. It was last.
Oh, with the Summerlid property.
Right,
down.
yeah.
No, it's been on hold. There's been an application in, but they've been reviewing it on their end, so it's been quite a span of time since we've heard from them, but it's still open. So.
Perfect, okay, thank you. Any other questions for Director Shoup? Councillor Baker.
And thank you, Your Worship. Just a quick clarification on timing of the public hearing for the large lot residential R5 review. I see it on March 23rd. Do we have time and place for that? Is that here?
That will be occurring here, yes, prior to the council meeting.
4 p.m.?
One will be at 4 and one at 4:30, and I can't remember which the order is now.
Great.
But
those who are interested.
We have those posted on the website now, too.
Great, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Perfect, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Director Langell with Parks and Recreation.
Hello, Mayor and Council. I just have 3 quick items to bring to your attention for the month of February. We've had some additions to our team and some subtractions. We've had Lucas Van Der start as a Parks Project Facilitator. So that's an 8-month position, primarily working with HWA. Tyler McLeod is a student from the Acadia's Community Development Program, so he's with us for 9 weeks, and he's going to help with the 10-year rec plan. And then unfortunately, Spencer Grantwell has left the town, and he has gone on to a new endeavor. So we wish him all the best, and he spent a lot of time with us and was a big part of our team in the Parks Division. The other item is the winter warm-up. As a department, we found that we feel it was a big success. The Wellnify app went well. We think there can be some adjustments to it that will work with the software provider. And it is potentially something that we could partner with match with the Juvenile Rec Month to try to get some more physical activity and get the community moving in June. And then finally, the last item, not in the report, but is regarding the Spike Fund. We had a lot of donations in the month of December, where we're up to $12,500 for just this year in donations, and that's quite high from previous years. And we've only had $2,400 that has been provided back to the community. So the reason I wanted to mention it is that we have our spring programs coming up, and then we have a pile of June programs. So hopefully we'll get the community applying to that grant and getting them into some space in our programs. And that is it for my report. Any questions?
Thank you. It's nice to hear, because usually we're looking for money, so. I just have one quick question. And I want to thank your staff or your team for getting the arena open so promptly Friday.
Yep.
What was the assessment in there? Was there much damage or just a mess? What?
Just more of a lot of work.
Okay.
To put this space back together. A lot of stuff removed from the walls, a lot of cupboards and cabinets, all the material kind of thrown on the ground. So it was just a lot of work for staff and just ensuring that it was safe for the public to return in.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. Thank you. Any other questions? Oh, Councillor Maxwell.
Thank you. Just wondering about the pool deck and if there's a target date when they'll come in and finish putting those pavers back in?
Yeah, we don't have a confirmed date yet, but ideally we'd have them in towards the end of April.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. We invite up Chief Smith with Kentville Police Service. Okay, I'll allow it, yeah. One more question for you, Director.
Question.
It's real short.
I notice in the financial report that the salaries for the arena are exceeding the budget and are expected to exceed the budget. I'm wondering why that's happening. Like, why would those arena salaries exceed the budget?
Well, we would have overtime for staff for our plant that gets checked 7 days a week. So it's primarily that.
Overtime?
Yeah, overtime, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We have two staff. One's writing the exam and the other one is taking the course now, looking to write the refrigeration ticket. So hopefully we'd have 3 employees, so we wouldn't have any further overtime going forward.
Okay, so there's a plan to cut that overtime, so that's
Yeah.
good. All right,
Yeah.
thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, CAO, and Deputy Clerk. You should have a copy of my report. I'm just going to touch on a few of the highlights. Start off, January 2026 report. We've had an increase in call volume for the first month of the year. 328 calls in January compared to 273 in the same month of 2024. That should be the other way. That's a January update. That should be 25 to 26. So that's a typo there, but same months. It's quite an increase for us. Some of the highlights we've had is our youth programs officially started. We had 7 cadets sworn in. They range from the age of, I think it's 13 to 17. They just had their second night last week, I think it was, or the week before, and they're very, very engaged and having lots of fun. So it's starting off. It's a good success so far. Just to highlight it as well, Sergeant Kevin Pick and one of our admin staff, Jennifer Myers, they do a lot of work. Sergeant Pick has taken over a lot of the work of our First Responders Wellness Symposium. I believe this will be our 4th year doing it. We've gone between here and Bridgewater, and that is coming up on April 25th at the NSCC in Kings Tech, which is a great event for first responders to attend. At very low cost, I think it's $25 per person. As I mentioned, patrol was up. We had about 35% of our calls were in the downtown core. We had a flight from police that resulted in 5 criminal code charges, and our theft files had increased as well. A couple other things. I touched on the community engagement sergeant with the KPS youth program. As well, our navigator statistics, this is month 2. This would be her second full month. She was busy with 18 agency meetings, which I've listed which agencies she's been dealing with. A lot of community presence. Referrals are starting to increase, and as you can tell by client interactions of 56 in 1 month is quite high. And something we've started is she's looking at how many calls she's taking off our members. So these are ones that come in through dispatch and are being sent to her directly instead of going to our staff, our sworn members. This is something we've just started to track, so I would say that number's probably higher. It's just, it's a new tracking system that we're looking at. Our investigative section, GIS, there concluded 7 search warrants, firearms were seized, 3 arrests, and then we also had a large fraud file. Ended up with 5 charges being laid. And financially, we are on pace. I think we should be at, according to my last, we should be at about an 83%, and we're actually under budget for costs. I'm not sure how, but we are. And we're ahead for our back check revenue for criminal record checks. We're at 88%, so we're ahead of where we should be. So, any questions?
I have one, Chief Smith, thank you for that. Is there, and I know we've talked about this before, it'd be really helpful, I think, right now, just with the way things are in downtown, to get the data on how many calls there are a month, or how many visits you guys make a month to Open Arms. Just from reading what's happened in Bridgewater, New Glasgow, it'd be nice if there's stats on that. I know, because it's not fair to say if there's, 35% of the calls are downtown, they might not all be connected to Open Arms, right? So
Yes.
it'd be nice to know what that number is, if there's a way to track that, or
You're referring to directly to the,
to the shelter, yeah,
Just
to the
to the
shelter.
shelter
Then
itself.
it's kind of more, it's better data, I think, that we can,
Yeah.
Might be helpful.
we can certainly discuss it at.
At your
that
next meeting,
commission-
yeah.
At our next meeting as
That
well.
would be helpful, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. And Councillor Maxwell.
Thank you. I have several questions. I noticed in the financial report that overtime, we're over the budget by $6,000 approximately. Those would be caused by overtime. Is that all sick calls, or what's causing that overtime number to be up and costing more money? I thought we were pretty good complement right now.
Yeah, so our staffing levels are full. We are full. We've had probably in the last 3 months, I think I've had at least 2, maybe 3 WCB claims that have put people off work that we've had to cover for. And then I think if we looked at sick time in regards to flus and head colds and everything else, like, I don't know if other agencies are seeing it or other services are seeing it, but our sick calls they're up.
I'm just wondering if there's a way to tighten that up, that overtime situation.
So I would say that I don't know that our overtime budget is where it should be. A lot of that captured in special events is 12,000, which is apple blossom, devil's half acre, that kind of stuff. So that 12 comes out of it. It's showing it there, but you're still here. Yes, I thought you left. But that's part of that overtime as well. Yes, I have, I would like to see an attendance policy, and I've had conversation with the CAO. It's been a while now, not to put you on the spot. But I think we don't have one. And I'm talking the entire town of Kentville. We do not have one. So yeah, in my mind, it's nice to have those when you go talk to someone about when you have concerns, when you have something to refer back to, so.
Okay, great. And I'm still struggling with your charts here.
Uh-oh.
And so let's take provincial statistics or statutes. There was 113 reported. One was unfounded, so that's 112. Not cleared is 2. Does that mean there was 110 that were cleared?
So you're looking at page 2,
I
Counselor?
think it's page 2. Yeah.
2 of 6?
Yeah.
113 reported, 1 unfounded, so 112 were actual, 2 not cleared. So not cleared could be, it's not an up-to-date system in the sense when this report gets done, not cleared means the member hasn't updated that call. So it could get updated next month to be cleared or it's going through court. So if it hasn't been concluded, it
Yeah.
would be not cleared.
Okay.
Yeah. I
And
think
the-
that's getting into the, I won't say the weeds probably for a report that, yeah.
And there seems to be, like it says here, by charge, and then it seems to be that we have high numbers being reported, but our charges are really quite low. Is that correct or not?
When you're referring to provincial statutes?
Just in general, like all the way through, if I go and I look at the
Yeah.
numbers, and then I just go through and say, by charge, even the provincial statutes, there's like 112, let's say, and there was only 2 charges there out of all those reports?
Yeah, so trespass, mental health calls, there's not going to be, so it's a provincial statute, but there wouldn't be an actual charge for a provincial like for a mental health call. So that's someone that's in distress or whatever, be taken to the hospital. So you're not gonna see a charge in that regard.
Right,
Family law would be the same, Coroner's Act would be the same. Liquor Control Act, you would potentially see charges, which typically if they go to cells, they're not, that's kind of their charge. They're given a ticket.
okay,
But typically they spend the night in cells is their ticket.
yeah,
Again, Liquor Act would be the same. 911 Act is very rarely would a charge be in that unless we're dealing with someone that's misusing 911, right? It's
Okay.
a lot of times it's a kid. The only one, that you might see more charges could potentially be the Trespass Act, which I would say would be one that you would see charges from in
Yeah.
that category.
crimes against property, like theft under 5,000,
You're at another page now.
yep.
Okay. What page are you on now?
So now I'm on page, I don't know, where's the page number?
On the bottom.
Right at the bottom.
Right at the bottom,
Page 4.
page 4,
Page 4.
page 4.
So crime against property, yep.
Yeah, so 13 reported,
2 unfounded,
2
11
unfounded,
actual.
5 weren't cleared yet, and so 4 charges
Yeah.
were
And-
laid there.
And again, I would express that if the system's not updated when this is reported, so an investigation continues and then next month charge is laid, that's when that number changes, right? So it's,
Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
so we're not really getting a wholesome picture here.
with this report, it's really hard to get a wholesome.
Okay.
Yeah, because as files continue and people investigate, they change.
All
Yeah.
right, I'll
Yeah.
keep that in mind next time I'm looking at it. All
I'll
right.
be honest, I think this is why this went away for a while, and then someone wanted it back, so then we started giving it again.
Yeah, okay. And you said that the calls were up in the downtown area quite a bit. Is there like one main type of call where we're seeing it, repeated over and over, or
Yeah, and I go with our trespassing call is one of our,
is one of the big ones?
yeah, trespassing, shoplifting,
Okay,
mental health calls. It's just every day I come to work and every night I read shift reports, it's a lot of the same stuff.
okay.
Unfortunately.
And the last question, do your officers, when they're on patrol, are they seeing much intravenous drug use on our streets?
Do they see it happening?
Are they seeing it happening? Like, do they see the needles? Do they see people huddled in the corner, shooting up or things like that?
Yeah, they're seeing some. We get, most of them are response types, calls too. Calls for needles on the ground or, geez, I think they might have found some at the arena. So yeah, it's, there's a fair bit, but no, I won't say it's as high as I hear in other places, to be honest, but, yes, we do.
You're
Yeah.
seeing, okay.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Yep,
All right, thank you very much.
that's it, thank you.
Thank you, everyone. We're going to move on now to new business. We have, our first recommendation here is that council approve writing off outstanding sundry accounts receivable, including interest totaling $1,963.60 related to customer account Kevin Davison. Someone could move that. Councillor Andrew, and a seconder, Councillor Hamilton. Any discussion on that? Councillor Andrew.
Are we allowed to know what this was, like what space this was for?
Director Matthews, you want to, or one of you want to speak to that, if you can? Yeah. I guess an Apple Blossom concert.
Okay, so
Yeah.
that kind of answers
Yeah.
who it is, I guess.
It was
That's-
the, yeah,
Yeah, I wasn't sure.
it was an arena rental for a
Okay.
concert. Yeah. Yeah, and it's been outstanding on the receivables for 2 years.
Do we ever take deposits when they rent them, or no, or that's typically we do? Yeah.
Yeah.
Not, I'm getting into the weeds, but just wondering. Yeah.
Can we not go back to the Apple Blossom Committee
Well,
to
This
get,
was, an-
it's probably an independent, yeah.
Yeah, so, there was a $500 deposit provided at the
Okay.
time. And it wasn't a part of the Apple Blossom Festival.
Right.
It was a separate booking outside of it to add on to the festival
I see.
from a couple of years ago now.
Okay, all right, thank you. Okay, if there's no other, no other comments, we will call for the vote.
I'll make a call.
Oh, hold on. Councillor Maxwell.
Yeah, I'm just,
Hold on a second, this machine's not working.
Okay.
You go now. It's
Okay.
not, no,
Am I-
the names don't come up anymore. Yeah, I have to look for the
Okay.
mics on the,
So I'm just gonna express a, kind of shock at the fact that we would have somebody renting out a facility where, assuming they're charging people to come, that they don't look after this bill. And, I'm kind of surprised at this. And I'm hoping that, we're not having to write off these types of things over and over and over again. Thank you.
thank you. No other lights? Okay, we'll call for the vote now. Voting is now closed. And the motion is carried. The next item is Fire Protection Services Act. Is there, CO, do you want to speak anything to that, or?
Just brief.
Okay. Oh, that's me.
Probably a good thing.
I'll
it's
take
not
the
on.
heat for that.
Another user ad?
Yeah.
Just, everybody's aware, I think, on council, and maybe not necessarily in the community, about the provinces implementing some new fire service regulations. They have a new Fire Services Act before the legislature in Halifax. And fortunately, the province has made a number of changes since it started out, but I just want to make council aware of what's in those proposed changes and what isn't in those proposed changes. So originally, they talked about the town being responsible for fire services 100%, plus also be responsible for hiring fire chiefs and so on and so forth. And so those things have been removed from this legislation or draft legislation now. But there still are provisions in here that are going to have standards for firefighters, and they're saying they're not going to turn away any firefighter, but when you start implementing standards for someone who's been fighting fires for 20, 30, 40 years, they're not necessarily going to go into a classroom anymore. And the province is going to establish regional training centers of some sort. So we're not sure what that looks like. But they're also going to require all municipalities to undertake a fire services review of their fire service. So that will cost us money. That's going to be a study, an independent study by somebody. And the unfortunate part is they're going to need to have 49 of them done or more across the province, which is going to drive the price up because there's only going to be a limited number of people who have expertise in that area. So we don't know what the impact's going to be this present time, but we expect in the next budget year We're gonna get hit with a cost where we're gonna have to carry out a study. And we're probably not gonna budget for it now because we don't know if this legislation is gonna pass, what the impact's gonna be, and whether that study's gonna be required to take place in 26, 27, or if it can be delayed to 27, 28. So there are a number of changes being proposed. It's a little confusing as well because it's being changed, but it's not being, many of the changes aren't for fire departments that are incorporated separately or as a part of a fire commission, which is kind of confusing. They're saying if they're a municipal department, the legislation applies to them. But that's hard for the public to understand. So I think, but I think in our situation, the town of Kentville or the Kentville Volunteer Fire Department are separate incorporated organizations, so these regulations don't apply to them directly, other than the ones that apply to the town that say we have to conduct an independent assessment of services to make sure they're competent and capable of providing those services within the town. And also to work with the province on streamline records management, but also this whole standards. So they'll establish a committee to determine what the standards should be for firefighters across the province. So I just want to make sure council's aware of those changes. The legislation is before the House right now. If it's going to pass, it's going to pass this week. I expect the bills will come forward here in the next day or two in this legislature to see if they get passed or not. So if they do get passed, I expect there will be some fast action by the province this summer and this fall to put these items in place, which will affect us. Not as much as we were anticipating originally, so that's a good thing, but there will still be some impacts for our fire department, and also will be some impacts for our budget going forward.
Thank you. Any questions for the CAO based on Councillor Baker?
How much would said fire services review cost?
A lot.
Depending on the nature of the detail of it, you're looking at 30 to 50,000 probably.
Okay.
Depending on how detailed they want and the specifics they're looking for.
Thank you.
And that's based on the assumption that you're doing 49 of them across the province minimum, that there should be some economies of scale.
Some of them are larger than others, though, I would imagine.
Significantly, yeah. We have one department, if you're in Kings County, that has 11, I think. That's 11 studies they have to do. So they're going to have to hire one consultant to do 11 reports. So that's going to be quite expensive for them.
Councillor Maxwell.
Thank you. I realize that our fire services also helping with county fire services. So would some of that cost be absorbed by the county, or are we expected to absorb the entire cost for a shared service?
That is yet to be determined.
Okay, thank you.
We don't know what the parameters of the study will be yet. And once they determine the parameters of the study, that will determine whether it's fully a town cost or whether it's a shared cost.
Perfect, thank you. We now move on to occupational health and safety policy statement. We have a recommendation that council approve the occupational health safety policy statement. Someone could move that. Councillor Hamilton, and a seconder, Councillor Andrew. Any discussion on that? There being none, we will call for the vote. Voting is open. Voting is now closed, and the motion is carried. Our next recommendation is from the Finance Department. It is that council approve a 7-month extension of the Investment Advisory Services Agreement with TD Wealth, extending the term to October 31st, 2026. Moved by Councillor Andrew and Councillor Maxwell. Any discussion on that? There being none, we'll open the vote. Voting is now open. Voting is now closed, and the motion is carried. Thank you. We'll move on to public comments, but I don't see any members of the public unless they come in the next 10 seconds. I guess we'll skip on to, we have business we need to conduct in camera, so I'll take a motion to enter a closed session. Councillor Maxwell and a seconder. Councillor Andrew as a seconder. All those in favor? Those opposed, motion's carried.